Howdy, everyone. Welcome back to Hillside Forge. So, on today's episode, before we get things kicked off, our last video, we did a giveaway to win this knife that Curtis made in 2 days. And we had everybody subscribe and leave a comment in order to get entered in to do that. To do that, I also put your names in this hat. It was a lot of work because I had to type them all out and then cut them all up and then put them in here. That's how much I love you. I love you so much, my fans, my supporters, that I put this extra time in to show you how much I care. Yeah. Everybody's name's in the hat. Um, so we're just gonna look away, pull one out, see what happens, and whoever I pull out wins. So let's do it. Holy Hands Trading 2025. I hope that's Holy Hands Contracting. I don't know what contrading is. So, Holy Hands Trading 2025. You guys won the knife. Congratulations. We will shoot you a message, or if you shoot us a message, actually, if you want to message us through our Hillside Forge Facebook, or if you want to email us at hillsideforge18@gmail.com. We will get your information. We'll get this sent out to you. So thank you guys, everyone who commented, who subscribed. We greatly appreciate it. But I don't need that anymore. I guess it would help if I had my microphone that whole time, and I didn't. It was Holy Hands Contracting. I don't know if you heard that. But like I said, we're going to do a giveaway for 1,000. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, 1,000. When we get 1,000 subscribers, get out of there. We're going to do another giveaway of a chef knife. I'm going to make a chef knife, and when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick from any one of our subscribers. I'm just going to put it in a hat like I did that, or maybe a randomizer on my app because that's way easier. But I'm going to do that, and then at 1,000 subscribers, you guys get the chance to win a chef knife. So now on today's video, get out of here. I'm going to teach you how to make a bottle opener with a rail spike. So let's get to it. I'm going to start by isolating the first 1.5 inches of the rail spike and driving that down half on the anvil, half off, and striking with my hammer half on, half off as well, just to get a nice clean set down. Now, using a fresh heat, we use the rounding side of the hammer to begin to strike down the sharp corners that happen when you flatten out a rail spike. So we want those to be a little bit more rounded. It just makes the process of drifting the hole out later much easier. And then we're done. Just kidding. What I'm going to do now is go over to the grinder, and I'm going to clean up both sides of the set down that we did, which is going to make it a lot easier for a drill bit to go through. I know that there are people who would just punch the hole through, but I prefer a little bit ease of process. So I decide to drill my hole in. I use a 1/4-inch drill bit. As long as you get it with pretty much even material on all four sides, approximately, you should be pretty safe with the drifting process. Now, obviously, you don't want your stock to be too thin, or else, now when I say thin, I mean width-wise, not thickness-wise, because you'll have a blowout, and that's never good. Just like when it happens in a baby's diaper, it's not a mess you want to clean up. Now for this next part, I have two different drifts that I use to drift out these holes. One is smaller than the other. It just makes the process of widening it out easier. The whole goal of using the drift is to get the eye hole or hole that you've punched wide enough that you can get it over the horn of your anvil. Once you have it to a point where you can work it on your horn, it's wide enough to stop using the drift and then begin using the horn itself. It's also important to note that when you're drifting with these punches, to drift from both sides. So a few swings on one side, flip it over, flip your drift over, and strike from the other side. So as you can see here, I have more mass at the top of my drift hole than I do on either side. So I begin to upset that material into the hole itself and use it to widen out the hole, but also even out that material. You don't want to work your thinnest spots even thinner. You want to try and work your thicker spots first. And this is by hitting both sides of the workpiece and alternating the side you're using on the horn so that the inside of your drift hole is a smooth, clean hole and doesn't have a slant or a chamfer to one side. And then in between these hits on the anvil, I just straighten everything out on the face of my anvil to make sure everything is staying true. Now, as you can see here, I'm moving the workpiece along the horn and striking relatively in the same spot on the horn and just moving the workpiece to where I need it to be. This will help keep a more uniform hole as you begin to drift it out further or stretch it out further using the horn. Now, a good size to stop at, in my opinion, is an inch wide on the interior diameter of your drifted hole. I feel like that works best for opening most bottles. Now, you can stretch the hole wider and contort the shape however you want. It's just, this is the way I've found that works for me. Now it's on to drifting out the tab that will actually open the bottle for us. For this, I use a 3/4 inch round rod that I just kind of dome the edge on, and I just strike just about at the edge of the steel to push that material out to the point where it'll catch a bottle. You don't want to forge this too thin, or else when you open a bottle, it'll actually bend that tab out. So you want to maintain a little more than a 1/16 to an 1/8 thickness there, just so it's sturdy enough to pop bottles off. Now, sometimes during this process, things can get a little wonky as far as the shape of your bottle opener itself, especially if you're drifting the tab out. So I just go through and clean up my profile and make sure everything's more in line and the way I like it to be. It's artistic expression, so it's really however you want it to look. I just have a particular way I like mine to look. We could stop right here and have a perfectly functional bottle opener, but to be honest, I don't think that's very fun. So what I think we're going to do is do my variation of a Rubik's twist, something I haven't done yet. I've done Rubik's twist before, but I'm going to make a gradient twist. So I'll have smaller cubes to a bigger cube, back to smaller cubes. But let's show you how you do that. But if you wanted to stop here, the bottle opener, you could, because you'd have a bottle opener. Now, most people, if they do it just this plain, they put a little curve in the handle, but we're not done yet. So let's get back to work, shall we? For this next part, we're going to try and score lines as evenly as we can on all four sides. Now, yes, you could hot cut these in, but I just chose to use the angle grinder. Now, for the cubes themselves, since mine is a gradient, I just make smaller squares to larger squares. If you're doing a true Rubik's twist, you would just do equal size squares all the way down all four sides. Well, not all four sides, 2 diagonal sides. That's what gives you your separation in the twist. And then we heat it back up, and it's time for the twist. Now for this, I put the bottle opener end in the vise and just twist with my wrench at the top, but you can twist it however you like.
So that's it for today's video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the build. A fun little project. Gonna sell great at craft fairs. So if you want to try one out or you just need a bottle opener, here's a way to try. And thank you again to everyone who commented and subscribed to our previous giveaway. Keep your eyes open for the next one. Also, if you're looking, Hillside Forge has a bunch of merchandise now on our website. So if you're looking for some Hillside Forge merch, or you want to represent us or support us and you don't really want to buy a knife right now, that's totally fine. Check out our merchandise. We have tons of shirts. We have my personal Bradley Scott knives. We have Curtis's, KS Forge Works, and we also have a bunch of Hillside Forge. And if you took one of our classes, feel free to pick up one of our Hillside Forge Railspike Knife Graduate t-shirts. All right, guys, until next time, have a great night and God bless.